Drop it on you. One of them up with.
So that'll work. So we're trying to know each other too. Okay. Yes, yes. No.
We're gonna get started. Thanks so much for sharing your morning with me this fine September day. I'm gonna start with a reminder that if you have a cell phone and it's not silenced, now's the time to go ahead and silence it. There's like little mics up top, so if it rings or you answer it in here, we can hear you, and so can people online. So please silence it. If you didn't sign in, that's also the time to go ahead and sign in. I'll remind you on the way out. Also, if you didn't sign in, that's fine. A couple of announcements. The first is one of our registered neighborhood groups, OCP, is hosting a movie in the park on September 27th. That red flyer on the table has more details on it. If you're subscribed to our newsletter, it's also in the newsletter if you're online. Second announcement, our NBR ABC, Argentine Betterment Corporation, is hosting Silver City Day on October 4th. So that's next Saturday. There's also more information on the flyer on the table. And that's also in our newsletter that'll come out on October 2nd. For LN updates, it is neighborhood grant application season. Those applications are due on October 31st, Halloween day, that Friday, 5 p.m. Please have them in on Friday. If you need extra time, let me know, but the deadline's very ready. And then the last update I have for Livable Neighborhoods, well, actually I have two. It is election year for Livable Neighborhoods Task Force, our nonprofit. If you're a registered neighborhood group or MBR and you're interested in serving on our executive board, applications are due October 10th. I did send those out and I have physical printouts in the office if you want to come snag one. And then last update before we move on to our presenter, CDW Community Development Workshop, and it's hosted by Community Capital Fund on the Missouri side. That is also on October 4th. October 3rd and October 4th. If you're representing a neighborhood group, there's also a stipend for you to attend. It's always a really good event. It's jam-packed with information about different ways to develop your neighborhood. They have some really cool, interesting topics. So I hope that you can attend. Livable Neighborhoods usually helps out in some way. So go see all the cool things that we cooked up this year for you. That's a sign. I cannot remember. I was hoping nobody does. I just know that there is one. But when you register, there's a link in the newsletter. When you register, you have to put that you're with a neighborhood group, and then somebody from their organization will follow. Thank you. Yes. I think it's like $50. Let me not say because I don't remember. And that's all I have. For Livable Neighborhoods. We have one presenter today. We have Alan Carr with Visit Kansas City, Kansas. He's going to talk to us about the World Cup that's coming. So if you want to come on up and I'll put your PowerPoint on.
Well, thanks so much for having me today. As Mina said, I'm Alan Carr. I'm the Executive Director of Visit Kansas City, Kansas. Today, I'm talking to you on another role. I've also been serving as the co-chair of the Mayor's Wyandotte County World Cup Readiness Task Force, a mouthful. That was put together almost 2 years ago by Mayor Garner. I'm co-chairing our county administrator, David Johnston. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, we released our report on how we can best prepare Wyandotte County for the World Cup. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the World Cup in case you don't know, and the opportunity for neighborhoods and residents and businesses here in Wyandotte County, as well as some of our recommendations. And so some of the things you can think about in your neighborhoods. Just to start off, give you a little bit of, just a little bit of an overview of what the World Cup is, in case you're not familiar. It is a soccer tournament put on by FIFA. It is the world's largest single sport event. It is likely the largest event that we will ever host in the Kansas City metropolitan area. It is a major event. They essentially say each match is kind of like a Super Bowl. We're going to have 6 matches here in Kansas City. So over about 6 weeks, that's about 6 Super Bowls. The event will take place next summer from June 11th to July 19th, and I'll show you some more dates in a minute. This will be the largest World Cup ever. The last one was 32 teams. This will be 48 teams. So there'll be a lot of teams here. With more teams, there's more matches. So you'll have a total of 104 matches taking place. This is also the first World Cup to take place in multiple countries. So it's being co-hosted by the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And they've chosen 16 cities across those countries. As you can see, Kansas City was lucky enough to be one of those cities. You see this map. I think one of the things that's really exciting, there are no other cities very close to us. And so we think we have a great opportunity to get visitors to come in from around the Midwest, but also from around the world who want to be centrally located. So it'll be easy for them to fly into different cities for the matches. As I said, Kansas City was awarded 6 matches. That does include a quarterfinal, which is the match before the semifinal and final. So there's major teams that will be competing in that. So that will be really a high point. The planning for this event regionally is being done by KC 2026. It's an organization that was formed that was working on both sides of the state line, that has representatives all across both states, that is organizing all of the events for the World Cup with FIFA. So they are officially contracted with FIFA to put on all the events here in Kansas City. The matches will take place at Arrowhead Stadium. It will be renamed Kansas City Stadium because they don't do any sponsors or anything. So for the World Cup, it will be called Kansas City Stadium. And there will also be a fan fest. This will be a chance for people to come in and gather and watch the matches that will take place at the World War I Museum. They estimate that more people will come to Kansas City without tickets than have tickets. So not only will we have the fans coming to the matches, you'll have fans coming that just want to be here because their team is playing here. So they expect a lot of visitors. I'll get to that number in a second. A couple things for Wyandotte County specifically that we have chances to be a part of the official events taking place. The first are what they call base camps. So these are the places where the teams come in to train to get ready for the World Cup. So they typically come in about 2 weeks before the World Cup starts. And essentially each of those 48 countries will select a venue that they will do their training in. And there are 3 venues. FIFA has gone over the last a year or so and selected what venues are high enough quality to host teams. And they have chosen 3 sites in Kansas City, Kansas, or in the Kansas City Metro as possible base camps. One is here in Wyandotte County. That's Compass Minerals Performance Center. It is one of the nicest soccer training facilities in the country. And so we are not guaranteed a team. None of the sites are guaranteed a team. The teams will get to kind of choose where they want to go. But it is highly likely that we will have a team here in Wyandotte County because of the quality of that facility. And then also in Riverside, the KC Current facility and Rock Chalk Park in Lawrence are also up for consideration for those base camps. In addition to that, when those 12 teams that are coming in to play those 6 matches, will train the day before each match. And they have chosen Children's Mercy Park as the site for one of those trainings. I think the other will be at the KC Current Stadium. So essentially the day before each match, that team will come and train. Those will be closed to the public. They'll be open to the media, but you can expect a lot of things going on around. In terms of how teams get here, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the qualification process has been going on for quite a while. We're actually pretty deep into the qualification process. Of the 48 teams, we already know 18. 18 have already earned a spot in the World Cup. You can see them here on the screen. South America has actually completed their qualification. So all the South American teams are known at this point. Oceania has also completed their qualification. So we know New Zealand will be there with New Caledonia in the playoff. The hosts are automatically qualified. So we already know that the US, Canada, and Mexico will be in the World Cup. And we actually know where they'll be playing. The US will not be playing in Kansas City for the group stage, but they mathematically could make it to Kansas City for the round of 32, I believe, or the quarterfinal. Europe just started their qualification, so there's no teams that have qualified yet. Asia is pretty far along, so they've got several qualified, and Africa just started last month, but they've already got 2 teams qualified. As you can see, qualification will go through November. So by the end of the November, we'll know 46 of the 48 teams that will be playing in the World Cup. The last 2 spots will be a playoff tournament that will not happen until March of 2026. So those last 2 teams will be determined. In between that, a big important date is December 5th. That's when FIFA does the draw to put all the teams into a pool to decide who plays each other. And so that's where we'll know on that date who is going to be playing their matches in Kansas City. So we'll know which countries are coming here on December 5th. The base camp team, likely we won't know that till after the draw. So it could be as late as January before we actually know what team will be base camping here. One of the reasons that's so important is typically the fans come to wherever their team is base camping. So we would expect those fans to make Kansas City there. In terms of the schedule itself, everything in red is what's taking place in Kansas City. So we anticipate that the base camp team could arrive as early as just before Memorial Day or the week of Memorial Day. That's about 2 weeks before the tournament. You see the first match in Kansas City is on the 16th. One of the things I would point out here is there are some holidays in this period. So those are great opportunities for activations in your neighborhood. You have Juneteenth on the 19th. It's just a couple of days after the Kansas City match and the day before our second match here in Kansas City. Father's Day is also that weekend. And then you also have Independence Day falls during this, which is actually the 250th of the United States. So not only is it Independence Day, it's a big holiday that several folks are working on doing some special things for. And that falls the day before the round of 32, which is the elimination match. So the winning team of that match moves on, the losing team goes home. So a lot of big stuff with our last match on the 11th. In terms of the impact that we expect to see, so in Wyandotte County, regionally, I should say, they're anticipating 650,000 visitors will come over that 6-week period. Now, that's not all on the same day, so that's going to be spread over about 6 weeks, but that's a lot of folks to come here. They anticipate about 60% of the visitors will be international. So about 60% will come from overseas. In terms of, I talked about our impacts of the base camp and the training site. You know, we expect lodging to be completely full, especially on match days. Not every day of the 6 weeks are we going to be full, but around match days, a couple of days before and after, they actually expect the demand for housing for visitors to go out about 150 miles. So you could have people staying as much as 150 miles away. Obviously businesses, especially in key areas, key visitor districts and areas near where matches or where events are taking place, we'll see increased traffic on those days. So we expect several impacts. I want to just kind of in my remaining time, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, just touch on some of the key things from our recommendations and how you can kind of think about preparing your neighborhood if the ways that you want to get involved. So for our task force, as I mentioned, when the mayor put it together, there's really 3 purposes. We want to make sure we're ready. So for those official events we have, we want to make sure we're ready to do everything that's necessary to support FIFA and KC 2026. But really important to our task force was to make sure that we can use this as an opportunity to promote our businesses to these visitors and get business to these visitors, to get our businesses to get these visitors to come here to patronize their shops and to attend events here in Wyandotte County. So that's one of our key goals. And the third is to really make sure that any visitor that comes into Wyandotte County has a positive experience. So to make sure that we're ready to host them and put our best foot forward. The task force itself, there were 12 members that represented a wide variety of people from throughout the community. We had a number of, again, over about a year and a half, we had a number of meetings. We had some public comment sessions. We had an online survey. I think overall we had about 200 different people that contributed ideas and information for our task force. So we divided up the biggest opportunities into 4 key areas. Marketing and promotion that I'll talk about. Our organization is kind of spearheading that. On-site experience, so that's for those visitors that come here. Representative Pam Curtis heads up this group. Neighborhoods and residents, how are they going to be impacted and can participate? Linda Hoskin Sutton, who's a KC Community College trustee, headed up that group. And business and workforce, how can businesses prepare, and how can we make sure that there's jobs for residents out of this? Greg Kendall with the EDC headed that up. So as I said, this full report is out there. It's about 48 pages. It's got about everything you would ever want to know about the World Cup. You should be able to find it on the UG's channels, and you can also reach out to me. And I'm just going to briefly, as I said in my remaining minutes, touch on some of these areas. The first is special events. So this is an area we see a lot of opportunity. Of course, there will be those official events that I mentioned at the base camp at Children's Mercy Park. But I think one of the things we see a lot of neighborhoods and businesses interested in is watch parties. And so there will be restrictions on what you can do in terms of using the brand marks. This is sort of like the Super Bowl or when the Big 12 is in town. If you're a business, you can't say Super Bowl, you can't say Big 12 tournament, right? You can't say World Cup. It's copyrighted by FIFA. So you can't, so if you're thinking about helping, promoting this, you can't use the phrases World Cup, FIFA, or KC 2026. Those have all been trademarked by FIFA. So you have to be creative. Welcome soccer fans, right? For the countries that are coming, welcome Brazil. Wouldn't that be amazing if they were here, right? So there's some creative ways to do that. But KC 2026 will be releasing guidelines on watch parties. So we expect those to come out in October. In a matter of weeks, we expect to see those. What we have been told is that if you're a bar or restaurant, there's nothing special you'll need to do. If you already broadcast games, you'll just be able to do that normally. If you want to host a special event, it will depend on really 2 things, whether you have to have a license to do that. One is the size of the event. The other is if you charge an entry fee. And if it's a large event and you charge an entry fee, you will likely have to get a broadcasting license in order to hold a watch party. We also know we want to have some big public events here. We know St. John's is in promoting Croatia, is already planning some major things around Croatian matches. One of the things we're looking for in our recommendation for the task force is to hold watch parties at Memorial Hall, use that as a center for watch parties here in Kansas City, Kansas. So we'll be working on plans to do that. We also expect out west in the Village West area, a few of the venues out there will be hosting their own events. And one of the other things we really want to encourage is community activations, not necessarily soccer related. So this is a great chance to show off the food, the culture, the businesses of Wyandotte County. And so encouraging people to think about having events during this period. And we're happy to give you some information on how to do that. But if you have a festival or event, it's a great opportunity to promote that to these visitors that will be looking for things to do in between the matches they're attending. On marketing, as I mentioned, we'll be putting out some guidance on those restrictions. KC 2026 is putting together a playbook that will kind of help businesses and neighborhoods understand the opportunities and what you can do. So that will come out in October. But we'll be promoting Kansas City, Kansas to those visitors. We're actually looking at doing we're planning right now to do some international promotion once those teams are selected and we know who's coming into Kansas City. And because of the restrictions on using World Cup, we are coming up with some community branding. So this will be something that will be able to be used to welcome visitors that will be able to use by different neighborhood groups. So stay tuned. We expect to announce that in October. On the on-site experience side, they looked at a couple things. Obviously, signage and communication are really important. How do we deal with different languages and making sure that people can understand and get around and we're able to communicate them. So that's something we'll work on. We really want to, beautify the city for this. So we're looking at street pole banners. So if you have street pole banners in your neighborhood, we're going to be doing a census and we'll potentially be offering, we'll pay for street pole banners potentially to go up in different neighborhoods. One of the other things we want to do is, create kind of great around the visitor districts and the main entryways into the community, create really welcoming experiences. So Those are things that we'll be looking at, and we encourage neighborhoods to get involved in there. Beautification is a big thing. Again, just like any major event, when the Olympics happens, when the World Cup happens, when the Super Bowl happens, we want to put our best foot forward. So we're going to be encouraging neighborhood cleanups, encouraging people to plant flowers. And so we've got some programs that we're working on to kind of do that, and even potentially some contesting so that different neighborhood groups can compete and win some prizes based on how well they help the neighborhood to shine for this event. We'll be communicating on parking and transportation and safety and security. A lot of the safety and security stuff is really being handled by KC 2026 and their regional partners. So they have a really good handle on that. So we didn't go too deep on that. The next section, neighborhoods and residents, I'm sure you guys are really interested in. One of the things we want to do is just make sure you understand the opportunities. So we'll have an engagement piece. We'll be providing information and to get that out to you so you can communicate that with your residents. We want to look at how can we get youth involved in this. So we're looking at some ideas around youth and soccer. Everything from soccer tournaments and opportunities to sportsmanship campaigns, which is something that FIFA does. Of course, resident impacts. Some neighborhoods, if you're in the Strawberry Hill area, you're probably going to see some impacts from some of these watch parties and things happening in other places as well. So we want to make sure we can communicate that and you can understand what some of those impacts may be. And then finally, housing is something that because of the lodging demand, short-term rentals is something that people may consider, hey, this is a great time to rent my house out. We know we have some regulations around that, so we want to make sure that's communicated and people understand the opportunities there. You can go to the next one. One of the things on housing, I'll just briefly mention, Airbnb did a study with FIFA to look at the anticipated demand for Airbnbs in the cities that are hosting the tournament. 67% of people that in this survey in Kansas City said they would be interested in renting their house out. Now, there's a lot of steps there, so that number is likely to be way, way smaller. But they project about 11,000 visitors will stay in Airbnbs during the 6 weeks of the tournament, and that the average Airbnb host can make $3,500. So is $3,500 enough for somebody to convert their house to an Airbnb? You know, you decide, but that's likely the opportunity. And then finally, I'll wrap up. Business and workforce is our last area. Make sure that businesses are ready. We did a survey with the EDC to look at what needs businesses feel like they most need. And marketing was the number one thing. How can these small businesses get on social media, get their website, help find customers? So we're working on some of these ideas, and we'll have some some ideas here. So they're working on some ideas, Greg and his team, around this. This is an area KC 2026 is investing a lot of resources. So they're putting together this playbook that will help businesses prepare. So we'll be doing some trainings here in Wyandotte County for businesses and some information sessions to help businesses understand how they can best prepare for this and the different opportunities here. One of the ideas on the marketing side that we're pursuing is connecting students with businesses in sort of a pilot program so students can help businesses with their social media and website presence. So that's something we hope to launch before the tournament to help businesses get ready. And then finally, a lot of this costs money. And we know that there isn't a lot of money available right now to do some of these projects. So our organization has committed to a fundraising effort and help raise private dollars through our newly formed Visit Kansas City, Kansas Foundation. And so one of the things that we talked about in our task force is we don't want to do things just for this 6 weeks. We want to do things that will leave a lasting legacy here in Wyandotte County. And so a lot of the projects that we are going to look at helping to fund by providing grants and funding for are things that will leave a lasting legacy. So we want to create art that will live on, create murals that will live on here in Wyandotte County. Beautification projects, like I said, planting and flowers, providing funds for that, this pilot program for students. So there's several things you'll see that we're doing. And your neighborhood groups, there will be an opportunity to apply for grants through this, to do some of this beautification work, put on special events if you want to put on special events in your neighborhood. So stay tuned on that. that we've hired a fundraising team, and they believe they can raise somewhere around $3 million to help support this stuff. So that is what I have. Hopefully I've stayed pretty close to my time.
Are there any questions for Alan about the World Cup? Anything that was interesting?
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Whenever you talked about having short-term rental application events, how can we find out when this will be, or who should, what?
So
should
these
we
were all recommendations. So now it's up to these different departments and entities to decide if they're going to implement them or not. But that is something that was talked about, of making it easier for folks to go through the process to register in Wyandotte County and doing potentially application events or education events. So that's something that the department that works on this will be looking at to see if that's something we do. We realize right now there is a compliance issue in Wyandotte County, right? So there are way more short-term rentals that are listed on the platforms than there are that are registered right now. So that's something that also they're going to look at. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that the neighborhoods are happy, right? That you don't feel like you're being overrun by short-term rentals, but we also that the folks that maybe think they can make some extra money during this period have an opportunity to that. So finding that right balance.
It looks like you have one question online. Dawn,
Yeah.
if you want to unmute.
Hey, Alan. I have a question that I've been trying to ask around is about entertainment districts. Specifically, how can we have where places around Kansas City can set up kind of like block off the block, but more importantly, allow people to walk around with drinks on the street. So, if you think like 6th Street, where they have the Third Friday art, 1 or 2 blocks blocked off, but someone can either set up a bar out there or bars nearby, and people can walk in between places with drinks. And I've brought this up to Tom Burrows and his business development task force that meets every couple Mondays, but I'm just not sure where to go to try to get this approved. And so it could be Minnesota, it could be Leavenworth Road, it could be any of these neighborhoods. But if we really want to, how do we make it so that there's a process for neighborhoods to get that approved?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If you want to shoot me an email or get with me, I know Alan Howells, the assistant county administrator, is leading up kind of a team within the UG. They're having weekly meetings on some of these issues. And one of the things they are working on are there ordinance changes that are needed, potentially even temporary.
Yeah, Alan's on that team as well, I think.
Yeah, for some of these events. So I think that's something we want to make sure we get to them, because they will be presenting, I think, to the commission and to the mayor some potential ordinance changes to help make this a little smoother. I know that's something we're seeing a lot on the Missouri side. Missouri changed their liquor laws during this period, so bars in Missouri can stay open until I believe 5 a.m. During the World Cup. It's good for you.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you so much for your time.
Can we give Alan a round? Okay, we're gonna move right on into our department and organization updates. Oh, that's a clock. What is that? KCK USD 500 is first.
Yes, good morning, everybody. On behalf of KCKPS Superintendent Dr. Anna Stubblefield and Edwin Birch, the Executive Director for Community Engagement and Government Affairs, I say hello and wanted to point you to some information regarding our proposed 2027-2028 boundary changes. We have had several public meetings, conversations, feedback sessions related to this topic, and you can find all that information and additional meetings coming up on the link that I've just provided in the chat feature. On that link, you'll have an opportunity also to share your opinion if you have not been able to attend 2 of these sessions or multiple sessions. This is an opportunity also for you to review some of the questions we're putting out there and allow your voice to be made or heard in this process. Coming up, the next meeting will be related to New Stanley Elementary School boundary meeting. and that's on October 1st. There's information on that link as well. And then there's information on the proposed changes, things that have been discussed so far. Nothing is set in stone, but we're trying to be as transparent as possible by making sure that we put out all the information, the data that we're gathering, some of the plans that our consultants are discussing with us and with the community. And if you have missed a couple of these meetings, there's also a video that was recorded from the last presentation that we held, I think about a week ago. So watch that recorded presentation so that you can get familiar with what's being discussed, and then jump onto the survey. That would be very helpful. Invite others, invite your neighbors, invite students, invite families that send their kids to our district to do this. Because it's important for us to get the data before we make final decisions. So that is it. But as Alan finished up, I was also emailing with a group here at the district regarding next level conversations we're having, hopefully with the Wyandotte Economic Development Council, on how to match up our students with some of these World Cup marketing needs. And that meeting is happening this afternoon. So hopefully we're at the next Livable Neighborhoods conversation or Zoom session, we're able to report a little bit more about what that is all about. That's it. I think Markle has other things to share with you.
Good morning, everyone. It's Marco Johnson, also with KCKPS. It's good to see you all. Real quick, some of you most of you probably already know that we're going to build some new schools here in the district. Briefly, we've had community meetings at Sumner Academy and also at Central Middle, and that's just to have our teammates, Hollis and Miller, to kind of lay out what those new schools are going to look like. We don't have any meeting scheduled currently, but please look out for that information because we want your input. How the school lays out, all of that, where the locations, all of that, we need your input. So please, when you see that information, please stop by because we need your input. Also, we've got a community health and resource fair coming up in October 22nd. A time has not been set yet, but the location has. It'll be at J.C. Harmon High School. We'll be offering state mandated immunizations. As you know, that's one of the things that's required to attend KCKPS. So this is our attempt and our way to get our students immunized. There's going to be other health organizations, Vibrant Health, Urban League, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, PACES, Unified Government Health Department, Avenue of Life. Is just going to be a good time. Again, October 22nd, there's going to be food, raffles, and prizes. So we hope that you join us. That's it for me.
Thanks, Francisco. Thanks, Marshall. Next up, we have the mayor's office. DA's office.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Good morning, everyone. I will be as brief as possible. The number snapshot is on the table, the big long white table there. I dropped it off earlier so you can see what's been going on as far as cases for the past month and some of the things that DA Dupree has been doing at the top of that. So please feel free to grab that or grab some to take to your friends, colleagues, or whomever else you decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and share this with them. Now, also, we're always available to come speak to your neighborhood group, or you can reach out to me directly, and my number is 913-573-2849. That's 913-573-2849. And you can also email me if you like, and my email address is jcarter@wycokck.org. So JCARTER@WYCOKCK.org. And we'd love to come talk to you as we've always done in our almost 9+ years here. So that's always something that we enjoy. And finally, I had someone ask me about expungements. They thought the expungement fair was the only time you could do an expungement here in the county, and that's not the case. The expungement fair is simply a time where we collectively, along with Kansas Legal Services, puts together the event so we can help you through the process and doing everything from A to B, all the way to taking it to the clerk of court's office and starting the process. But you can do an expungement, you can file for an expungement any day of the year, outside of the weekend. So if it's something that you need to do, or if someone needs to do, they can come to our office any day and start the process. So we'll talk you through it and get you on your way. So don't think the expungement fair is the only time that you can do it. It's available all year round. And that's essentially all I have. Thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jonathan. White Coast Sheriff.
Hey, Sheriff Soptic, I don't have a whole lot today other than if you have any questions, but I am gonna give my time to Grace. So if you got anything, I'll take it real quick. Otherwise, we'll let Grace.
How many inmates do you have?
About 480,
And that's here, how many are formed out?
60 are farmed out.
Well, that's kind of up, isn't it? No,
Pretty constant. Yeah. Okay, Grace.
Okay, so our open testing is gonna be on October 23rd this year, or this month. It'll be same time, 2 p.m. at the Pearson Community Center. So if you know anybody that would like a job, they can watch our social media and to watch for updates about that. I usually put out about 2 reminders every month so that people know they can get signed up for it.
so what's the open testing for?
So open testing is our recruitment event, so we do one every month. They do an agility test, their first round of oral interviews, like a, I'm just sorry with PDP,
Personality, right?
like a personality evaluation, and then a written exam. So it's just a few hours, one day a month. And that kind of gets their foot in the door for getting hired here. And then we'll be going to a lot of events in October. Turner Days, Silver City Day Parade, Faith and Blue, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not gonna get into all the specifics of every single event right now, but again, if you watch our social media, I'll be posting stuff about that. Yeah. That's it.
Any more questions for Grace? Thank you. KCK Police Department.
Hello, Captain Moulton here, filling in for Captain Davis. So only thing I have today is Faith and Blue. It's October 10th through 13th. It's a weekend where different churches partnership. We're partnering with them. On one of the days, the Friday, the hands across State Avenue, starting at about 7th Street, where police headquarters is, and going all the way up to about 118th and State. If you know a church, or if you're part of a church that's wanting to be affiliated, reach out to Major Wallace to try to get coordinated with that. On that Saturday, Faith and Blue celebration in the park at Eisenhower Park at 6 o'clock. It's gonna be food, free food, game and trailer, movies. And then on Sunday, the different churches around the city is hosting law enforcement officers and their families to come and worship with them on that Sunday. And then Monday is Coffee with Chief Open and the local pastors. I'll have the flyers here if you have anything. That's it.
Thanks. Any questions for both of them?
What was that date on the hands across state?
That would be October 10th, I believe.
10th.
That's right.
You extra flyers?
I have it right
Or can you leave them with you?
here.
Or here? Thanks. Sorry.
On to-
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Okay, if there's no questions. Kansas Fire Department.
Morning, I'm Kelly Littlefield. I'm representing the fire department today. For the fire department, so far this year, we've had 25,340 calls for service. We've responded to 9,680 medical type calls, 229 fires. We've responded to 1,619 automatic alarms for businesses and 349 residential automatic alarms. On October the 11th, the fire department, in partnership with the Red Cross, is doing a Sound the Alarm event, doing a smoke detector installs, and that will begin at 8 a.m. starting at Fire Station 18th at 18 at 55th and Leavenworth Road, and they're going to be moving east and covering areas east of the fire station. So there'll be more information coming out about that, and check the fire department social media for that. And then our safety tips of the month are open burning begins October 15th. And that is a residential open burning permit for residential burning only. And this includes burn barrels. So if people are going to burn in a barrel, it does require a permit. It is considered open burning. And to apply for a permit, the burn permit portal will open on October 15th on the fire department's website, or any fire station can help you if you do not have computer access. Also, I have a handout that I sent to Mina via email, and I sent it to Crystal McFetters via email for Halloween safety. That season is upon us with lots of Halloween type events. So we want everybody to be safe. And that's it for me. Any questions?
Questions for Kelly?
Thanks, Kelly, in case you resend it out. I don't think I got it.
First question is, can you resend the flyer to me and Crystal?
I didn't get it, Kelly.
Yes, I can resend it.
And then we do have one question in the room.
How long does the burn period last?
It'll last 30 days, so it'll be October 16th to November 15th.
Extra questions? Okay, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Next we have the NRC.
Good morning, I'm Patrick Colton. I'm the manager of property maintenance compliance here with the NRC. Greg asked me to start coming to these meetings and kind of reintroduce a sort of a violation of the month type of announcement. So I think we're trying to focus on things that are commonly seen in our office, but are also maybe lesser known as far as what our actual ordinances are. So this week, and there are some handouts over here with some diagrams that we just redid this past week for fencing. What's legal fencing on residential property? What's not legal fencing on residential property? So the first half of this is talking about open fencing. Anything in the front yard of a property has to be no more than 4 feet tall, and it has to be 40% open. So essentially, we have to see a significant amount of space in between the pickets or slats of that fence. You have to be able to see through the fence. Anything in the backyard, which is considered everything from the front fascia of the property, so just past the front porch, where the actual main part of the structure begins, everything side yard back, all the way along the property line, that can be 6 foot, that can be completely private. Nothing over 6 feet. Once you go over 6 feet, you are required to get a building permit and approval. The other caveat of that is that we've got corner lots. Corner lots have a lot more restrictions, even on the open fencing in the front yard. Essentially, the back part of this is a diagram for a sight distance triangle and how we measure that. Essentially, we go about 20 feet up your curb line on one side and then 140 feet up the other side. And then we do the same 20 feet there and 140 feet there. You have to be able to essentially see somebody. If you had stood 2 people on those points on both sides, you'd have to be able to look at each other in the eyes in order for that to be safe. Nothing in the sight distance triangle can be over 2 feet tall. That includes fences, plantings, anything like that. That's a traffic safety issue that we will address. The other caveat that's even lesser known is that if you've got a vacant lot, you can put a fence around that vacant lot, but since there's no primary structure, it's restricted to the 4 feet and 40% open. So since there's no backyard of the property, everything is considered front yard in that case. The reason we like to address fences every once in a while is because fences are contagious. If, as an inspector, I learned pretty quickly that if I went out and there was a nice fence in somebody's yard that didn't quite meet our standards, if I was like, well, I've got bigger things to deal with today that are more on the minds of the public, then I would come back in about 2 weeks. Now there's 3 fences of the same nature. So I tell all my people, as soon as you see a fence that is improperly built or constructed, get it addressed immediately, because the neighbors are going to come ask that person, who did your fence? So.
So the fences that are 6 feet or shorter in the back and
Mhm.
4 feet or shorter in the front, do they need a permit?
No, there's no,
No permit.
and that's one thing we try to push in our office. A lot of times people will call the front desk or call one of the inspectors and say, do I need a permit to build a fence? And fortunately, for years, a lot of times the question or the answer was no, and then hang up. And then now we've got an illegal fence because they didn't ask all the questions they needed to ask. Now I've got a 6 foot privacy fence all the way up to the right of way, on a corner lot. So we've got a safety issue, something dealing with the utilities. That's the other thing. Before you put any kind of fence up, especially in the front yard, but really anywhere, dig safe. You're gonna want to make sure that you're not going to affect any of the utilities around your property as well.
So if I own my house and I acquired the lot beside me through the
Mhm.
land bank, and we both face the street, and I've even made that all into one parcel,
Mhm.
and I want to fence the whole thing.
Right.
The front facing part, even the vacant lot part that's now part of my property
Mhm.
is 4 feet.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Now, we've had people that they buy the land bank lot next to them. They don't combine the lots and then they go ahead and put that, it may look legal, 4 foot, 40% open fence all the way to the front fascia on the other side of the lot, and then 6 foot all the way around. But we get into looking at it and we're like, well, you never combine the parcels. So actually the 6 foot section of this is not in compliance. Our goal is not to make them tear the fence down. Our goal is to get them down, get the lots combined, and get that fence in compliance. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my question doesn't have to do with fencing,
Okay.
but curbing.
Uh-huh.
So how long, if a person happens to call to figure out compliance and on curbing, what's the best way to go about it when they've already called several times?
So that would
So
have to go
what-
through
How does?
curbing as far as like along the street.
Yep.
So my ordinance doesn't address curbing at all.
Okay.
That's all through Public Works. Right.
So you just have to, is there a diagram then in the YCO somewhere
That I'm
should
aware
we
of,
know?
I've never seen one, but I'd be
Okay.
happy to reach out to Andy Roddy, the right-of-way manager, and see if that is something that is available to get on the website.
Okay. I mean, it's just confusing to know as a private citizen who knows nothing,
Right.
where to go for which compliance issue when there's so many
That is true.
different
There,
wonderful agencies available for us to call on, but it's just knowing which one and how to get through, because even if we call 311, they're great people, great opportunities, but if we don't have the right questions, then we don't always know where to be directed.
well,
So,
let me say this, my inspectors and more specifically front desk, because my inspectors are out in the field. We try and keep them out there as much as possible. We don't want, I know it'd be nice to have your inspector available to answer every question, every phone call and stuff like that, but then
Right,
it takes away from the
right.
time they are
Sure, no, I
trying to be
understand
addressing.
that.
So we've got our front desk, they're extremely knowledgeable. So we are used to being what I would call the eyes and ears of the city. We've got inspectors. We're almost fully staffed. We're one of the few divisions that can actually say that. And we have inspectors out in the field every day, supervisors, even myself, going out in the field. So we catch a lot of things that are issues in the neighborhoods that we don't actually have the power to address. But because of that, we're very good at knowing exactly where and how to route those things to the correct person. So
we could also call you.
so the Neighborhood Resource Center is exactly that,
Okay.
a resource center for information, even if sometimes our answer is, let me get you in touch with the city right-of-way manager, let me get you in touch with planning and zoning, let me get you in touch with the community police department. We are very good at kind of that intra-governmental communication. That's kind of one area of our expertise that kind of goes unnoticed.
That's helpful to know.
Yes. I think you have a question.
What about very old existing fences?
very old existing fences, that's gonna depend on, how, when each of those ordinances was adopted. You could have, pre-existing non-conforming, fences, in the city. I'm gonna say we don't see it much that we've got pre-existing stuff. What we have seen over the years is, somebody's got two lots, the one that their house is on, and then the vacant lot next to them, and maybe they never combined those, and somebody inherited that property and didn't realize they were two different properties and stopped paying the taxes on the vacant part of it a long time ago, and now the land bank owns that lot. And so now they've got a fence around a land bank property. So we're looking at, land bank's another thing that we don't have any jurisdiction over the land bank, but the land bank doesn't have somebody driving around the city looking at land bank issues. So my inspectors have taken on a lot of that task to get notices out to people for like cease use. Essentially, people are taking over land bank properties, building fences around them, or have existing fences around them. And the letter that goes out doesn't have anything to do with our office. We don't have our name on it or anything. Everything refers you back to the land bank. Inquire to the land bank about purchasing this property. And if not, now let's talk about how you can either get your illegal driveway removed from the property, get your fence removed from the property, things like that. So.
And if it's not land bank,
If it's not land bank, like I said, I don't see a lot of fences out there. I can't think of one in all the fences I've ever addressed, all the fences I've ever discussed with my inspectors that we sat there and looked at and said, you know what, this fence existed prior to this ordinance adoption and we need to change this. Now, there could be some, there for a time, there were people who were allowed to get variances on fences that were maybe over 4 feet tall in their front yard or something like that. Planning and zoning has stopped hearing variances on those because it's actually in chapter 8, not 27. It's a mess. But so there could be some fences out there that are non-compliant fences that have been approved, but those are very.
Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, yes.
Who do you contact to find out about alley upkeep?
Alley up Public Works. Now, I will say that the one part of that is the caveat to that is vegetation in the alley. That is the responsibility of the adjacent property owners. Everyone is responsible for the vegetation in their alley, right-of-way easement, halfway into the alley. So if you got a neighbor here and a neighbor here and an alley in between, those neighbors are supposed to meet at the halfway point of the alley to address that vegetation. So if we've got alleys that are overgrown, which I know we do, that could be a summer-long project for one of my inspectors, because the way I ask them to do that is, one, they've got to go in there and figure out ownership of every single house along that alley. They've got to get notices out to each of those owners. We start with a soft approach because sometimes it can be years since that vegetation was cut. And then we go back, re-inspect it, see who didn't do it, start posting abatements both sides of that alley to get that addressed. Then we come back again, and then we turn that over to the city abatement crew along with any land bank lots or unified government properties that are along that alley that maybe the contractor is not getting done as far as the vegetation back there. So it can be a long project. I think I worked in the Northeast for a little while, especially around like between Parallel and Wood. And from about 29th to about 24th Street, a lot of those alleys did get addressed over the years, but they're probably getting ready to be addressed again. There's probably more alleys than one inspector could tackle in a summer, depending on where they're at.
So that would that include dumping?
Dumping in the alley. There's going to be some updates to that. There's going to be some changes to our illegal dumping process. That will probably be in a future Livable Neighborhoods presentation.
But for present,
I would say the best thing you could do is call our office. We will either get it to the police department to look at it.
I could call the police department.
Well, we only involve the police department if my inspector goes by, looks at that trash and sees that there may be some identifiers in that trash, then we will get with community police and them come out and look at that stuff. Or we will, if not, then we're trying to get it to Public Works or abatement crew, whoever's available at that time to get that trash out of that alley.
You said Public Works.
Yes.
Final question, that's online.
You have one back here?
We'll have a final question online because we got to move on, y'all.
Okay.
In like 10 minutes. Do inspectors go to neighborhood meetings?
No.
Okay,
Yes.
short and sweet. But if you have questions about general codes things, I would be happy to come on behalf of the NRC. Okay. Question, if you still have it, email Livable Neighborhoods and I'll get you in contact with Patrick. Thank you. Next up, we have UG, Planning and Urban Design. I think we have an update from the bi-state corridor, if anybody from there is on today. UG Communications.
I will be short and sweet because I gotta run to a 10 o'clock meeting in about 4 minutes. So really quick, I have a few updates from Miss Jordan from our elections office. So the elections office will be at the Seniors in the Dot event on September 30th and October 4th. The program typically starts at 2 p.m. at the Andrews Lee Community Center. And we'll have a mail ballot and voter registration applications available for people that are interested in becoming poll workers. Let's see here, they also are taking, I don't have my glasses on, I apologize, you all. For election workers, or Jordan, would you like to just put this really quick?
Sure.
Better. Okay,
So anyone who is interested in being a poll worker in this upcoming election, we can always take more. So you can turn in an application in our office. Our application's online as well. You have to be a registered voter in WICO. We'll get you into a 3-hour training. I'll get you assigned. It's a really fun, cool experience. I know we have some poll workers in the room who can vouch for how fun of an experience it is. And then the registration deadline for the upcoming election is going to be October 14th. So if you have changed your name, changed your address, want to change your party affiliation, you know someone who just turned 18 or will be 18 by election day, the deadline to register for the next election is October 14th. You can register online if you're a Kansas resident already. You can apply in our office. We can send you a mail application, whatever. So make sure you're registered by October 14th for the next election.
thank you, Jordan. You did way faster than I. Couple other quick announcements. The Area Agency on Aging is doing their final Senior Impact Series event today at 12 o'clock at East Patrol. They're going to focus on any presentations for BPU, the Environmental Services, and Oak Street Health will be there presenting, I think from 12 to 1. So if you're available, please check them out. They're also doing a Meals on Wheels fundraiser on October 14th. And they're partnering with the Panera Bread. But it's the one in Mission, Kansas. So 20% of the proceeds that anyone, if you go on that day, will be given back to the Meals on Wheels program for our community. And that's from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And there's our flyers over there as well. This Tuesday coming up, September 30th at Memorial Hall, if you know of anyone that has a small business or is a vendor or interested in becoming a vendor, small business, or would like to do business with the unified government, we will have our vendor and small business fair. And it is from 9 to 2. There is a series of presentations from different business owners and organizations, as well as an opportunity to go and support our local vendors in the entire auditorium. There'll be food trucks and just a lot of great resources. All of this information is on the UG website as well, and on Facebook if you're following us. Also on next Tuesday, there's the Elevating KCK Open House, and this is the actual team that will be there to discuss your solutions for the Kansas Avenue and the Central Avenue Bridge. And it's going to be at 444 Minnesota Avenue. There's information on Facebook as well as on the homepage on the web UG website for that event as well. And I just got word for this other event through KDOT. And it was just posted this morning, so I definitely wanted to share this with you. That they're doing public input meetings throughout the region about all the different closures, just a gamut of things. So I recommend that you all go. They're going to have one in KCK, and it's going to be at the Great Wolf Lodge on October 21st from 1 to 4. And this information just hit our homepage on the website as well, from 1 to 4 at the Great Wolf Lodge. But if you're unable to make that particular one, there will be opportunity to join them online on October 28th from 5:30 to 8:30. So provide you feedback, hear kind of with their information about different projects going on. But I definitely think with everything kind of going on with KDOT, it would be great if as many people can flood, especially either the live one at Great Wolf Lodge or tune in online. And that is, other than last look up from an event standpoint, one last thing, I just want to thank everyone that was able to attend the Memorial Hall Centennial a couple Fridays ago. It was a great turnout out, as well as the Veterans event. Really great turnout. We had no incidents. It was just a perfect weather held out for us. But just thank everyone from, if you donated anything, if you passed the word around on social media for us, just if you were there just to support, we appreciate you. Hoping to celebrate another 100 years of Memorial Hall. I won't be here to celebrate it, but we're hoping our grandkids and the kids will be able to. So that's all that I have. Thank you all.
Okay, we'll move into any additional community announcements. If you have an update, an announcement, an event coming up in the month of October, now's your time to let us know. Come up to the front, introduce yourself, keep your update to about a minute. And then once everybody in person has gone, if you have an update and you're online, you can drop in the chat and I will get.
I'm Pam Blood with Shepherd Center, and I want to encourage you to buy nuts. They're really fine. Many of you have already done, so you can give the order to me, or you can give it to Melissa Bynum. The other thing is Shepherd Center also has a pancake breakfast fundraiser. It's going to be out of White Church Christian Church at 85th and 85th Street. And that is October 18th. So we invite you to come to that.
Howdy, Hector with the American Red Cross here in Kansas City. Just a couple of quick things. We want to offer ourselves first and foremost to any tabling events that you guys might want to have us over, and we can do a hands-on CPR presentation or do Prepare with Pedro, which is a fire prevention curriculum, if you will, that is specifically catered to kids. We're also having a blood drive on Sunday, October 5th over our new brick and mortar blood donation center in Overland Park. It's at 135th Street. It's right across Shields on the same lot. Most importantly, though, as was mentioned earlier, on October 11th, we are having our Sound the Alarm events. We are fixing to hit up about 800 homes in that Saturday. So we do need a lot of volunteers to make that possible. Chief Womble, Mina has been very helpful with making this event. Hopefully it's a great success. And yes, we'll be at Fire Station 18, I believe. Yeah, anyway, so it's an all-day event. We will feed you, so no excuse, come for breakfast or for lunch. So that's about it. Thanks.
So my name is Karen, and I'm with the Department of Children and Families. So this is my first time here, but I wanted to let you know that we're having an event at the Wyandotte Department of Children and Families on October 18th. And I did put some flyers out here, so if anyone is interested in tabling our event, please contact me. I'll give you a call. We'll invite you to be a vendor, but it's also open to the community. We have Halloween costumes for kids. We have over 60 vendors. Last year we had over 400 clients come and attend our event. So we just have a bouncy house. We have food, hot dogs. Mocan Goodwill will be there to tell people about jobs. If you have jobs open and you want to come to our event to talk about that at a table, that would be great as well. So my name is Karen, Department of Children and Families, October 18th. And here are my flyers.
You said the location is where?
The Wyandotte Department of Children and Families.
And the actual.
402 State Avenue.
Yeah. Good job.
Thanks.
That was a test.
Final announcements in person, which I'll move online. Announcement from Linda, the West Wyandotte Library is hosting a community resource fair this Saturday, September 28th, from 11 a.m. to 3, featuring Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department fire trucks, the library's a mobile library bus, a bounce house, and so much more. Over 30 local community organizations will be providing information on a wide array of resources available in Wyandotte County. Free hot dogs, lunch, ice cream will be handed out while supplies last. This will be a fun event for the whole family, so be sure to support your library and get a library card if you don't have one. 28. Yes, 27. So sorry. It's on time. Miss Camille says she's so grateful for the way this vision has come together. She wants to thank each of you, along with the EPA, for your partnership in helping bring the Children's Health Fair to life. Here are the confirmed details for this event. It'll be on Saturday, October 25th, from 2 to 4:30 at Preservation Park. That address is 2515 North 17th Street. That is in KCK. We'll have tables / partners from Children's Mercy, K-State Extension Office, Bike Walk KC, Missouri River Bird Observatory. You can contact OCP's VP if you're interested in tabling or being a part of this event. And I can give out that email address if anybody's interested. Also, OCP's annual trunk and treat event flyer is circulating in the community, and I'll be sure to get that and send it out in our e-newsletter as well. And that is our last and final announcement, unless there's another. Okay, with that, I'm gonna close this out. Also, I wanted to highlight September 28th is National Good Neighbor Day. And while I didn't plan anything, you all should be good neighbors on that day. So I'm the person that walks the dog. If you don't have a dog, buy some treats and feed the dogs in the neighborhood anyway. Just something neighborly and friendly. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday morning with me. If you didn't sign in on your way in, sign in on your way out. And I'll see you next month at our last monthly meeting of the year. Ciao.
You get to next November days.
No.
Long before that, like, you're more.